Hey guys, so as you can see from the bookshelf, or if you read the, title of this, you know that this is a book tag. And the title of this book tag is the Fab Four Book Tag. I was tagged by Joel Swagman, and the original creator of this tag was Tom L.A. Books. I will make links to both of their pages down below. So um, that's kind of all that. What am I drinking? I am drinking the same as in the last video, just Earl Grey, and then of course the cup is my Gryffindor or my Hufflepuff cup. I did that in the last video. Um, as the same as last time because I'm lazy, and this is taking place in the same day as the other video, and I just don't feel like being extra. So this is just kind of what it is. And so, without any further ado, let's get started. So, um, here are the questions, and I'll have the questions down below too, um, as well as any other connections, to like any other channels and whatever. That's all. That's always down below. So question number one. I just fell out of bed, found out what key I had dreamt in, and I played it. Paul McCartney about yesterday. A book that you dreamed about or that inspired you in your dreams. So this one I don't know. I didn't know what to say for it. Very much I kind of just reverted back to my roots, I guess. And I thought, especially whenever I first came out to my family, like I had a whole lot of anxiety there, and there was so much going on that I really just didn't know what I wanted or what I thought. And so I think when I read this book before I gave it to some of my family, I really just wanted, I don't know, um, yeah, like I just read the book, and I think that that's kind of like alleviated some of my anxieties and stuff like that. And so I probably dreamt about it, or it was at least in my subconscious whenever I was dreaming. But it's you can tell just by looking, and 20 Other Myths About LGBT Life and People by Michael Bronski and Pelagoni and Michael Emico. Um, so yeah, like I really don't know anything else. I don't remember most of my dreams, and at the same time, I don't know. Most of my dreams are weird, or yeah, it's strange. But if we're gonna keep this under 30 minutes, I'll try to cut down on any talk and talk. Number two, Lucy in a Sky with Diamonds by John Lennon, a book that talks about drugs or was written under the influence of drugs. This one I had to laugh at. Most of the classes I have, especially with a certain professor, talks, somebody's high or something like that. The writers. I'm not going to say if any of us are. I certainly am not. But I decided to do a book by the late Maggie Griffin, Tippett, A World According to Maggie. Um, and of course, this is the mother of Kathy Griffin. Um, for me, I read this whenever I actually was probably under the influence. I had my gallbladder taken out, so I was kind of like drugged up for about a week. But I read that, and it was, I don't know, I liked the book, and but yeah. So number three, um, we thought we'd be really big in Liverpool. Yeah, Ringo Starr, a book about someone who had far more success than what they expected, or a book that was much more successful than what the author expected. Um, this book is by Caitlin Doty. I'll have a link to her channel. She does the channel Ask the Mortician on YouTube, and that's like one of my great faves. And really one of the first channels I subscribed to. Um, but her book, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and Other Lessons from the Crematory, is a memoir. I read it on my own. I really thought it was interesting, especially she writes about the death culture and everything. I actually have one of her other books. I just really liked it, and I don't think she really expected just how much the death culture would be revolutionized within the last um 10, 20 years, especially in the time that she has been an advocate. So I think that she more than likely at the time did not expect her book to become as big as it was. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Next, number 4. Um, set sitting on the cornflakes, waiting for the van to come. John Lennon. A surreal book or a book with some surreal elements. What that you enjoyed. I picked probably one of my favorite books. Partially because of the narrator, partially because it's quacks. Um, and it's Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. Love this book. Um, it's like I have a copy um that I was lucky enough that not just has my notes, but not just has one person's notes. Like I'm pretty sure that this book has circulated enough times that it's officially like it has so many note takings. And I've loved the book. I love just how intense it is. We literally have a narrator we can't trust. We don't know even what the girl's name is. Oh, it's Lolita, blah blah blah. No, like, mm. And so it's like it's funny to me at least. I don't know. That and this book, like, I don't know, and I highly recommend it. It's one of my top 5 books. I highly recommend. Um, and I've even like thought about um people that want to read like some of the books that I talk about. I will happily send you the book, or I will send you a copy of the book, just because if you can make time for it. Some of these books are so good. Um, and yeah, like I don't know, like that's something future me will figure out. That's a very good book. It's a good surrealist book. It's not really, fantasy, like there's nothing crazy, magical, whatever, but it has a narrator we literally can't trust, and it's, you know, everything is all them. And so there's so many open-ended doors and stuff like that, and we're left to just like try and grapple with everything. And yes, it's so good. Anyway, The White Album, a book that love book you loved that A has a minimalist cover, or B is written in a minimalist style. Um, I went with the cover just because you don't judge a book by its cover, and I have so many books. I really didn't know who to get other than this book. Um, which is so the book is Severance by Ling Ma. And it's literally, it has this pink color, which ironically it matches. I was very surprised that, this color actually matches like what you guys are going to see. And then we have what might be a tear up here. It's not actually, it's just on the cover. We have the emblem right here. And then we also have down here, if you can see it right there, it says a novel. That's pretty much it. On the back, it's very minimalist, but it is such an intense book and it's a good book. But anyway, number 6, Little Darling. It's been a long cold winter, or a long lonely. Yeah, we're gonna restart because we need to fix that. Little Darling. It's been a long cold lonely winter. Here comes the sun. George Harrison. A book of poetry that you found uplifting. Um, this one, especially in my last video, um, that I didn't post. I deleted it and I'm redoing it right now. Um, I was like a bit more disorganized whenever I was looking. And this book of poetry, like it has some very intense moments, and it's very rough. Like one of the you know and it's Don't Call Us Dead by Dinez Smith. By the way, if Dinez Smith ever watches my videos, I want you to know I do love your stuff, but right now I find it highly unlikely. But there's really hard poems um in here. One of them is a litany with blood all over, which I can get it. There we go. Um it literally dissolves to the point where it's just combining his blood, my blood. It's a harsh book, um, but I love it because, and it's very uplifting. In other parts like this poem, "Dinosaurs in the Hood." I was lucky enough; I got to see Dinez Smith actually perform that poem, and it was so good. Like top tier, very top tier book of poetry. Very much outweighs some of my other books of poetry, which is by like Frost and a whole bunches of people. Yeah, that's number one. I have to go with that. So number 7, A Day in the Life, an experimental book that's very uncommon. That's very uncommon for its content or format, and yet it works well. I went with a book I read like a long time back in high school, and I decided to choose William Faulkner's "As I Lay Dying." And I just remember some of the conversations we had about this book in class. And in fact, there's even and I even marked it. Um, there's literally a coffin in the book. Um, and so it's fascinating. In my mind. And at the time it was very uncommon to have split characters and different people talking, and of course today that's more common, like the book that I'm reading for the series, new series, Who Dis, the In the Time of the Butterflies by Julia Alvarez, very much does the same thing. We have different chapters are being read by different, or not being read, but are narrated by different people or stuff like that. So we see this different, today that's something that's common. People are more risky with stuff that they do. That was one of the first times it was ever really done. And for me, that was just like, it's a very awesome book. And the fact that it has a coffin literally drawn in, like that was done by Faulkner, it blows my mind every time. Anyway, number 8. Over half of Americans who are over 45 attribute the Beatles' split to Yoko Ono, a book about a woman, or if you can't think about one, a man, who is unjustly blamed or accused of something. This one, I really want to know what everybody's opinion is, um, because for me, like I remember, this was something that we talked about in a class the one time, was about the book Psycho by Robert Bloch. Um, because who is the serial killer? If you, I think that the movie does a good interpretation, kind of that you might be able to get this. Um, if you watch The Bates Motel, we kind of deviate from what this book is. Um, and if you've read the book, it's another way. But who's the real killer? Like, obviously it is Norman. Norman is the person that technically commits the murders, but is it really Norman? Is it, his mother, who is pretty much, we kind of see harboring inside of him? Or is it like, do the character, the external characters themselves kind of bring it on themselves? who is this? Who is, the real, murderer? Who did it? I have my opinion that I stick with. And even after reading the book, watching the movie, having a college level class discussion, I have my opinion, and I am firm in my opinion. But I want to know what you think. What's your opinion? Who is really the killer? Is it Norman? Is it his mom? Is it, part of this kind of mental illness kind of aspect? Is it like this third party kind of thing? What do you think? So that's my thing. So it's kind of a multiple ideas or whatever. Anyway, on. Um, Number 9, limitless, undying love, which shines around me like million suns, that calls me on across the universe. John Lennon. A book that opens your mind and made you think of the universe in a new way, either physically or spiritually. Um, this is a book that I think that really changed. I'm a very much psychoanalytical person, but I have had moments where like my perception has changed. I've gone into different specialties of literature. In fact, this book helped me write you know um, a few really good papers, as well as got me one of my videos, which is probably one of my highest viewed videos so far. Um, which is How to Be Gay by David M. Herman. So this was actually a textbook for a class, um, and it's very much about queer theory in different you know novels and movies and stuff like that, and how there's queer coding and all that stuff, whatever. So for me, that was like the interesting thing, and it really helped me find things. So I don't know. That's me. Number 10. And I'm not going to sing it because I do not want my laptop to break and I do not want your screen to explode. But um, number 10, Mother Mary, come to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. Paul McCartney. A book that you found very powerful and moving despite its apparent simplicity. This is probably my number one favorite book. Um, Now, granted, I haven't read it since it's been a few years. So one day I will have to rewatch it or reread it and go back. So, sorry, I got a notification about my laptop. Um, so yeah, um, this book is Pressurehead by J.L. Merrow. So I chose this because I myself love the fact that when I read it, it is a mystery novel, stuff like that. And it's, centered around, a gay character, but the gayness is not the only thing that it's focused on. In fact, it's kind of, a secondary thing. And that is a big irritation to me is whenever a gay character is only focused on the fact that they are gay. I really could care less. It's like, okay, I know about your sexuality, whatever. Congrats. There's a gender studies, test that says sees if movies and books can pass, and it goes along the lines of if two female characters can have a conversation not about a guy, then it passes. And for me, I think there should be the same thing for a gay character because so often gay characters or trans characters or whatever, it's focused on that. And it's just like, no, I don't want that. Um, I wanna know about your crazy superpower that makes you almost like Saint Anthony and you can find lost things. Or, I wanna see that you come home and make mac and cheese because it's nice and it makes you feel good. Like stuff like that. I don't know. Um And of course, and it might just be my mind making a book that I read a long time ago important. Um, Especially considering at the time I didn't really have much representation, and I don't know. I but that's that. I do apologize because I think that this video has a lot of like gay stuff going on, which is I don't know. That's that's me, and considering most of my content is not that, but yeah. So that's that, and so let's kind of go ahead and reach the end of the book tag with who am I gonna tag? Um, and I know that Joel, you have already done this because you're the one that tagged me. I know uh, Dane Reeds, you have already done it because you tagged Joel. So I don't know many other people that watch my videos. Um, so I am gonna tag Hungry Bookworm. I don't know if you've done this tag yet, but I encourage you to do it. Um, but yeah, so I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and that it is filled with peace, love, and joy. Have a good one.